All right, Vilna Gaon commentary. That was the original premise. We got to bring it down to something tangible. Let's see if how we understand the Vilna Gaon. Ready? Okay. I have the image up for the second verse. This is actually the first verse, but it's Mishlei Shlomo ben David Melech Israel. All right, the Proverbs of Solomon ben David, the king of Israel. Now remember where we've been, right? Everyone remember? Really break your head open here. That was our whole Yosef character, right? Just brilliant, awesome, fantastic, fire, Torah, brilliance, light. That's what that is. Solomon, remember, can mean the king who has peace upon him, blah, blah, blah. That's from the Midrash. When I say blah, 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 it's not particular to this thing. The idea is that Shlomo can be interpreted as the king who has peace. Ben David, Melech can be to give counsel. In Aramaic, it's Yoetz. Or Yoetz is the Hebrew, Melech is the Aramaic of that. And Yisrael. That's what we have to work with here. Let's go. Mishlei. Here comes the Vilna Gaon. Verse 1. Ready? When I say Mishlei, I'm saying he's got Mishlei in the bold print. It's the first big paragraph. Follow along if you can. If you can't, follow me. All right? I'm not looking at the screen. I'm assuming either you can follow me by what I'm saying or just listen to me. So my eyes are no longer on the screen. Let's go. Give me a 1 if you're on the screen. If you're going to use the Hebrew, give me a 1 if that's you. Kevin, you're in there. James, you're in there. And we got any other ones here. Eric, you're trying. And Pam, what are you doing? All right. There we go. All right, so we got a couple people. Everybody else, I'm gonna explain it. Don't worry. But I just want to know who's following me in the Hebrew second. I don't know, so I'm conscious of it. Mishlei. See everybody should be looking at the picture at least just for this. Look at the upper right-hand corner, underneath the squiggly line. Give me a 1 if you see the squiggly line. Everybody, give me a 1 if you see the squiggly line. Okay, go in the farthest upper right-hand corner underneath the squiggly line. Give me a 1 or 2 if you found that. Can everybody make out, Pam, underneath the squiggly line, upper right-hand corner? No. Beneath the squiggly line. Beneath the squiggle. You got to scroll. You got a squiggly line. You got big Hebrew font on top, and then you got a squiggly line. A real long squiggly line. Super duper long. Let me see here. How do you do the whiteboard? Yeah, whoever did that, thank you. See the green squiggle? There you go. Eric, you're on the board. Eric, you're my guy. Okay. No, it's towards the top. Towards the top. All right, James, you're on it. Okay, now look right beneath the squiggly line. In the upper right-hand corner beneath the squiggly line. See the aleph and the word Mishlei. You guys see that? The aleph in parentheses? Yeah, 1 or 2. Everybody, 1 or 2. Aleph in parentheses. Let's hear it. Let's hear it from the whole room. Everybody. Let's go, people. Let's go. Everybody. Hello. Okay, that aleph. Now, I'm going to teach you some footnotes here. Does everybody know where that aleph takes you to? Where's that aleph coming from? Look directly above that aleph. You see 2 more olives up there? Way up there. Everybody see 2 olives? All right, you see a big aleph and a little aleph. The big one means chapter 1. Aleph is the gematria 1. Give me a 1 if you agree with 1. All right, now what's the little aleph doing? It's chapter 1, verse 1. There you go. All right, you got chapter 1, verse 1. So then what is the parenthesis aleph doing? What is that parenthesis beneath the squiggle aleph doing? It is close. I wouldn't call it a footnote. It's the Vilna Gaon's commentary on following the line. The Vilna Gaon's not exactly a footnote here. He's kind of part of the book as opposed to the footnote, right? So whenever you see the parentheses, that's going to be Vilna Gaon. Whenever you see the big one, it's going to be the chapter change, and the little one. See the bet towards the end of the verse, and just between after the 2 dots, Yisrael 2 dots, bet, then the word ladot. You see that in the verse itself, where 1 turns to 2. Everybody follow me? Where the second verse starts. Everybody give me 1 or 2. I want to know that you're on the same page with me, figuratively and literally. Okay. In the verse in the big bold font by the olives, Pam. Take that verse, keep going till you see a little bet, which signifies the second verse beginning, where the first verse ends. Do you see that? You see the 2 olives up there? The very beginning of the text? 2 olives? Okay. Follow that line until you see a random little bet swimming by himself in the middle there. Just scan that line till you see that little guy. There you go. That's going to be the beginning of the second verse. We're not going to do that right now, but that's what that means. And the colon, that just means the end of the verse. You see the colon after the word Yisrael, just before the bet. That's telling you end of verse. All right. These little gadgety little maneuvers I'm teaching you right here, these never change. This is really how you can learn any book in the world. You just find out the system at play, and you just figure it out. They expect you to figure it out. You know how when you buy a new smartphone and you think, how do we push play on this media player and how do you stop? And then you just kind of figure it out. It never actually says pause and play like the old Sony Discman, right? You just kind of figure it out by pushing buttons till it works, 1 or 2. So same here too. You just kind of figure out the thing. And so if the big one's obviously the chapter, then you got the little guys for the verse, Vilna Gaon's the parenthesis, and you'll see that's the style. And then you find the consistency throughout the whole book. That's like 90% of learning. And then being able to be fast and efficient going between all locations of a page. That's really the essence of it. To be able to be quick on the page itself, right? To be able to navigate the page. Because we're going to be you can see how we can be going back and forth pretty quickly, right? If I refer to the first verse, second verse, chapter, the Vilna Gaon, right? And then but the faster you work like circuitry, then you get the wisdom of the text. Now, I don't know if it shows up so good on your image, but can you see that the word Mishlei in the Vilna Gaon is in bold font? Like, I don't know how well it comes out, but take my word for it. In my version, the original, right? The word Mishlei is in bold font. Type 1 or 2 if you can at least fathom that concept or see it on your page. Anybody want to give me a 2 here? Are we all one out? Everybody? We're all good? All right. So why is it in bold font, Eric Bryan? Why? Why is the word Mishlei in our Vilna Gaon one, but it looks like that wasn't the question, Mr. Bryan. That was not the question. Why is Mishlei here in bold? And what is it called in Hebrew? It's called Divrei Hamaskil, meaning I'll explain what that means in Hebrew when you answer the question. Anyone want to guess? Any guessers? Guessings? Bueller? Yes, I'll take that answer, Eric. Yes. The Vilna Gaon is saying, first thing, everybody, we're going to explain the word Mishlei. You got that? He's saying this, the first thing we're going to talk about is the word Mishlei. You all see that? 1 or 2? It's real simple. No breaking the skull here. Right? He's saying first things first, let's talk about Mishlei. So now, when you hear me read, if I wouldn't have given this whole introduction, if I would have just said, okay, ready to start? Yeah, everybody. Yeah, we're ready. Catch, ready to start. Okay, ready to start? Yeah, we're ready to start. Okay, Mishlei. What'd I just do? We do our little bibble babble, and I say, okay, Mishlei. What am I saying? You got to follow the reader. When I say Mishlei, what are we doing? Why am I announcing this when I start? Mishlei. Accentuating what? Accentuating what? Based on what? Based on the Vilna Gaon. I'm just articulating what the Vilna Gaon has written, right? He puts it in bold, so I'm going to make my voice in bold. All right? That's why when you read Torah, you articulate and accentuate the page as you would read it. So let's go ahead and start. Mishlei. Everybody should be able to know what I'm talking about, right? Mishlei. B'kol davar yesh chomer poyel tzoyra v'tachlis. In everything, there are these 4 attributes. Are you guys ready to hear what the 4 attributes are? We got to be able to do this a little bit quick tonight, not because I'm getting out of here quick, but because we have a lot of material to do, and we're not here next week. So it's just got to be a little bit efficient. So get more on me and out of your brain. This is, in fact, let's call this test day. This is the test day to not be moron man. 1 or 2. This is the end of the year. Let's not be moron man. There are 4 things in everything. All right? Are you guys aware of the name of God? Yud Kei Vav Kei has 4 letters, 1 or 2. And that generally in Kabbalistic principles is that Yud Kei Vav Kei is in everything. All right? If you were to see the movie The Matrix in divine reality, it would look like Yud Kei Vav Kei. So the Vilna Gaon is kind of defining not Yud Kei Vav Kei, the name of God, but what is reality? Right? What is reality? That's the question. You hear the question? He's saying, what is reality? You can say it's 4 worlds. It's the essence of 4. Right? Just the essence of systems of 4. And the 4 things are chomer, which is matter, just stuff, right? The clay you put on the potter's wheel, 1 or 2. Whatever you call that clay, lumber before you make a cabinet. Poil, right? You got wood on the ground. Then you got to get the concept of how do we make the wood into a cabinet? You hear the question? Poil is the labor. How are we going to labor this wood into a functioning cabinet? 1 or 2. Then we hire the contractor to say, okay, we want it looking like this. You got an image of it, right? A form. We know in our conceptually the blueprint of the cabinet, 1 or 2. And finally, we have a cabinet. Tachlis. We have a cabinet. You understand the 4 things? We went to the store. We bought groceries, 1 or 2. Then we brought out the recipe and the utensils, 1 or 2. Then we decided exactly how it was going to be made, 1 or 2. Then we ate it, 1 or 2. Now, there was that thing that was in your living room. It used to be called the thing that bills were on, 1 or 2. Then we moved the bills off of it, and we envisioned a table, 1 or 2. Then we ate dinner on this new thing called a table, 1 or 2. Now we have what is called stuff on dirty dishes, 1 or 2. And then we got to think, which kid is going to be the dishwasher tonight, 1 or 2. Then we envisioned Bobby's crying, Jane is tired, but Billy is the candidate. He will get the dishes done in about 20 minutes, 1 or 2. And you have to bribe Billy to do it. In the end, we got tachlis. The dishes got cleaned, 1 or 2. So everything you attack in your life is these four components when broken down like this, right? So let's go ahead and plug in our Mishlei class. Let's channel our friend Moron Man. Want to channel our friend Moron Man? Moron Man just walked into a bank. What did he see? He saw stuff, right? Give me a big one on that one. Stuff, chairs, people, crying babies, annoying people, yelling, "Where's my refund?" Right? Then we got Poil. How does it work? Which machine do I need? Which line am I in? Where am I? Which desk am I going to? What am I here for? What number am I? 1 or 2. Then we got Surah. Okay, I'm waiting. I'm now waiting for Jane's desk to open up, and there's 3 guys ahead of me. I'm happy, right? We got order from chaos here, correct? I'm watching the TV commercial. I'm chewing my gum, checking my phone, and I'm going to be up to bat in about 2 minutes here, right? My number's going to be called in about 2 minutes. Talkless. They called my number. I knew it was going to happen, and now I get to talk to the worker at the bank, and I get to do what I was here to do. 1 or 2. So you're a moron because you don't accept the chomer. You understand that? You're expecting it to be talkless. I walk into bank. Bank serves me. I am everything. 1 or 2. And you're ignoring the fact of the chomer, the matter, right? You weren't expecting it to be crazy chaos day at the bank, were you? You weren't expecting the girl at the grocery store to mess up your banking, whatever, the check. What do you call it? I don't forget in English what you call it. Cheshbon in Hebrew. The total of the groceries, right? And you thought you had more money in your account. You don't have enough. You got to put the things away. You weren't expecting a little balagan, were you? So as much as you're not expecting balagan, you're not ready for poil. You're the problem. Tell me 1 or 2 if you're not the problem. You're the problem, right? We understand our craziness. We know it's crazy here. But who's crazier? Me who's crazy, or you coming into my store thinking that you're not crazy? You're tripping over the groceries. You're saying, how dare you put groceries in the aisle? Well, why would you come into my store and trip on my groceries? Now who's crazy? You don't even know how it works here. How many of you have or know somebody with a cluttered desk? Therefore, there's a method of working that cluttered desk, is there not? So if you come in and you don't expect chomer, the matter, you're gonna be real lost when it comes to how that desk works. 1 or 2. But if you come in there and say, okay, PM, I understand we got World War III over here. What's the system? How do you work? Oh, thank you, Rabbi Katz, for not being moron man. Let me tell you, now that you acknowledge the chomer, let me tell you how it works. Okay, PM, I do see method to your madness. That's the surah. And in the end, we get the work done, and nobody got punched out. Talkless. 1 or 2. PM Rogers. How's that work? Everybody. All right. Now, you understand what the Vilna Gaon is saying here? This is life in a nutshell. Your problem of moron man is you believe it's talkless. I have a license. I deserve to always have a license. If you summon me to traffic school, you're probably wrong because it's all about me. Of course, I have a license. 1 or 2. 1 or 2. The problem is I am delusional because there's chomer. Maybe you didn't see the desks. Maybe you didn't see the teacher. Maybe you didn't realize we took your identification card number and we're not playing around, right? All of a sudden, your little ego got shattered. Now the chomer killed you. Yeah, 6 hours in an uncomfortable chair. How do you feel, Eric? Once you accept the chomer, yes, I am in a horrible prison of a driving school. 1 or 2. Now, once you embrace the chomer, remember we talked about embrace the fog? Now we're going to change it up. It's no longer embrace the fog. It's called accept your prison. Accept the cell. Right? That's what it is. It's, just your wooden stuff and your metal stuff and it's just chaos. Right? It's people, it's bodies, It's heat. It's cold, right? It's my food fell on the floor. You guys all envision this? There's nothing good about this. Nothing. Everything you walk into is a potential disaster. You got this? It's just total physical, no soul. There's really no God yet because you didn't get there yet. It was all about you. God says, where you are, I can't dwell with you. All right? So the faster you embrace that reality, the more you can plug into the program. One or two. So you embrace it. And it's ironic. You're supposed to say, no, I don't embrace it. I'm a spiritual being. I have a soul. Yeah, that's fine, but not yet. Right? Not yet. You're flesh and blood like everybody else. Once you ironically embrace this shock to the system, unless you're comfortable with living at the bank and living in the grocery store, which you're not, so you embrace the shock. It's called shock. You're in shock, right? Where I come from, people aren't rude and cutting in front of me in line. But all of a sudden, I go to the grocery store. Now it's the norm. So what are you going to do? Are you going to reprimand everything that goes wrong? Or are you going to embrace the shock? All right, they were out of your tomatoes today, Eric Bryan. Yeah, we had the chutzpah to be out of your tomatoes. How do you feel about that? Every day you come to buy tomatoes, and today we were out of tomatoes. How dare us? Look how much your life is ruined now. It's exactly it. Why don't you have my tomatoes? I come here. I am a good customer at this store for 5 years, giving you my hard-earned money. All right, here's Eric Bryan crying over the money, right? I'll give you my hard-earned money, just like me at driving school, right? I got 2 kids, and I'm working American hours. You can't seriously expect me to go to driving school. You really think I have to? I work until 3 in the morning talking to these people. You really think that I deserve to sit in traffic school for 6 hours? Everybody hear the patheticness here? That is you fighting your chaos and physicality, right? Accept the chomer. Accept the chomer. But it's not even that. It's that you perpetuate your little story. Oh, Eric, we don't have tomatoes today. Why? I'm special. I deserve tomatoes. That's what you're saying, right? I'm special. 1 or 2. Hurry up. 1 or 2. But it's not true. Because you're going to say, once I say, no, Eric, it doesn't look like we have tomatoes today. You're going to say, but I put my hard work, money, I cash my check at this store. I come here for 3 years, and why do I come to your store? Because you promised me that you'll have tomatoes whenever I come. And you usually have the best tomatoes. But now this one time when I claim to have a very important things to do at home, it's my daughter's 4th birthday, and we were going to make pizza for her. And now I can't. Now I can't make pizza for her because you ruined it for me because you don't have tomatoes. And you call yourself a grocery store? I'm going to put an ad in the local news and tell everybody you didn't have tomatoes when I wanted tomatoes. I mean, have I ever heard of a grocery store not having tomatoes? As if this little episode, she's going to go in the back and say, hey, guys, break out the tomatoes for Eric. This game's got to end. I mean, we had him fooled, but he threatened me with the 4-year-old's pizza party. We can't be having that. Everybody bring out the tomatoes. Bring them out. Eric was right. We really had him. Eric, we're sorry about that. We apologize. We had tomatoes the whole time. We just saw you coming, and we were going to hide them. But you called us on it, and here we go. This is how pathetic the evil inclination gets. Am I wrong? Right? When you're at your height of moron man, you are literally prepared to say or do anything to get your way. It gets more and more ridiculous. Right? You don't want to wait in line to the bank, but my grandmother's coming to town, and she's old. She can't wait at the airport. She's old. If she dies, God forbid, it's on you. It'll be your fault because I had to go. I couldn't wait here. So that it's just it's dramatic because the soul, the nefesh, is that dramatic, right? Are you all aware of the passions of the Chumash? Just Judah and this one and Joseph and the brothers and throw them in the pit, right? Why is the Chumash so dramatic and passionate? Because it's the nefesh, right? You all have that in you. Now it can become perverted or it can become enthusiastic. When you're loving something and you're in the godly moment, then we want to hear the drama. Then we want to hear the passion, right? When someone's doing something good at the bank and they don't understand, you say, hey, you know what, John, you are really a great banker. Nobody here appreciates you. I come to this bank only because of you. Every other bank is like, hey, Eric, how you doing? I'm like, yeah, how you doing? But John, you make coming to this bank all the while. How many of you guys have given a pep talk like that to your little, instead of your tomato episode, how many of you given the pep talk episode, right? How much I love coming here because of you, how much you really represent a true model citizen, right? So that's just as passionate and dramatic, is it not? But that's where you're not complaining about the chomer. So we're painting the picture of moron man because you don't need reprimanded on what you do good. Right? There are times that you understand the matter, the chomer. But there are times, most of the time, you don't. Okay. What do you do once you embrace it? It's as simple as that. It's just stop whining, like Pam said, right? Just embrace it. Okay? It's not Gan Eden. It doesn't matter. Then poil. Now that we have sticks and stones, what are you going to do about it, Eric? What are you going to do? We got people waiting in line. No one seems to be helping them. It's chaos. It's hot in here. It's the summertime. The air conditioner broke. What are you going to do? You work on it. I don't know what the job is, but you work on it. If you can just be one less bad person in there, you're doing your job. Look at it again. There's something to do. There's something to do. It might be tough. Might be one of those days, but there's something to do. Then you get the image. Zoom in, zoom out, get the image. You know what today is? Today is called Patience Day. It's called Tough It Out. You're sitting in a hot bank. It's tough, but there's no way that I'm not getting through, even though there's 20 people ahead of me, right? Tachlis. I'm going to give you a little story. You know why it's hard to believe that sitting in the bank for 20 minutes, 20 people ahead of you, might be what it's about? Right? Did you ever think that maybe God is teaching you patience today? Did you ever think about that? I was in London years ago, and my brother gave me directions to the subway. I may have told this story before. And he said, turn right off the driveway. Turn right off the driveway, and you'll 10, 15-minute walk, you'll hit the stop. I'm saying, yeah, okay, great, Ben. That's good. So I go out of the driveway, and I didn't pay attention when I checked into his place. And I'm like, okay, good. We're going to the subway. It's going to be a day in London. This is pretty good. I get at the end of the driveway, and he's saying to go, which way did I say this? I forget which way he said with the story. And in reality, it was turn right. Did I say turn right? I forget it was. But he said, turn right out the driveway. So I look right, and I'm saying, nah, man, Brother Ben got it wrong. It's left. Because going right is a massive hill. He doesn't want me to go up the hill. Why would Brother Ben want me to go up a hill? Obviously, he was confused, and it was left. And it was left, and then, right? Right there? And then, right? It's and then. So I actually, on this egotistical little whim, I actually did turn left. I went to the intersection and said, oh, this doesn't look right. Man, what? How could that? That was Mazel, what you just wrote right there, right? That was Mazel, what you just typed. So I said to myself, do you think Brother Ben wanted me to go right? No. And after about 5 minutes of fighting with myself, I admitted Brother Ben wants me to go up the hill. It's a big hill. Brother Ben wants me to go up a very big hill. So I went up the hill. Right? It was inconceivable that another human being really actually wanted me to walk up a huge hill. Is that not life in a nutshell? Sometimes it's just called, it's the day that you do hard work and sweat and breathe heavy. It's it. It just might be one of those days. And that's just how it is. Shekasavnu. Kama Pamim. He says, I've written about this a lot of times. And actually, I've seen him do it. He's written about it a lot of times. V'chein hu kan, Mishlei. Did everybody hear me accentuate the word Mishlei? Mishlei. Everybody hear that? Mishlei. So the Vilna Gaon is saying the first bold Mishlei is everything Solomon says are those four things. Right? That's how you unpack every single thing of Solomon. Chomer, Poyod, Soira, Tachlis. Yod, K, Vav, K. Pshat, Remez, Drush, Sod. Right? He's saying this is how you get through it. You understand? This is how you get through it. Now, the second Mishlei, he's gonna go back and unpack it a little more in depth now, okay? So we're same, we're there. He's gonna go back and do it more. Mishlei, hu achoimer shel hasefer hazeh. Okay, are you all familiar with the word choimer by now? Choimer, stuff, matter, physicality. 1 or 2. Let's go. Everybody? Okay. He's saying the concept of Mishlei, of Proverbs, the proverb itself is raw stuff. 1 or 2. Right? The wicked walk with the righteous, and they say, hey, you're wicked. And he says, hey, you're righteous. Such is the way of God. Some kind of Mishlei, right? 1 or 2. Someone said that, remember? So that everybody we said would read that and say, oh yeah, of course the righteous talked with the wicked, and he said, right? Everybody ready to move on now? We got it, understood? Let's continue, right? No, it's 2, because the rabbi that does it doesn't know what he's talking about. That's what the Vilna Gaon is saying. Understand, when you look at a verse, it's just choimer. It's not tachlis. You understand? It's not built yet. Okay? Here's just pick a random verse. Ready? Mishlei 11:10. You ready? Here, I'm just openly looking. Here we go. Betuv tzadikim ta'alot kriya uva avod rashayim rina. With the good of the righteous, something, I don't know what it means, something, and lost the wicked with song. Everybody got that? Pretty clear, isn't it? Everybody understand what I just read? 1 or 2? 1 or 2? How can you? That's right. You don't understand a word I'm saying because I don't understand a word I'm saying. But most people would read that like, yeah, the good of the righteous, the wicked, or blah blah blah, right? And so I don't know what I read. I have no idea. In fact, there's a very long Vilna Gaon explanation here. So anybody that just reads to you from the Torah, like, yeah, I've known this my whole life, of course, sure. No, you don't. No, you don't. It's impossible. And that's what the Vilna Gaon is saying. It's impossible. You cannot get the finished product by going to the finished product. It's not finished. And you know what? If I learned it an hour ago, it's still not finished. Because what we talked about today in this class has already improved my intelligence along with yours, and we have moved on from where we were an hour ago. So I'm going to have read this, and I still don't know what it is. You have to embrace the chomer, 1 or 2. I don't care how well you know it. Embrace the chomer. So we've been saying embrace the fog. I'm changing it now, according to the Vilna Gaon, right? He's saying fog is a bunch of a wood pile, Now, we know that that's conceptually fog, 1 or 2. But we're saying the conceptual fog is literally wood, screws, nuts, and bolts, and screwdrivers. And accept it. You have no idea what it is. That's Mishlei. That's the Proverbs. Right? When you meet somebody that's a little bit wicked, you don't feel right. Right? How many of you have ever met somebody like that? You met somebody, it's like, I don't know. I don't know about this one. I don't know. Well, you're not supposed to know. You really think you know someone's entire life story in the first 5 minutes? Don't tell me, I have good sensitivity. I know. No, what you know is you know yourself. And you know that you don't like this person. That doesn't take rocket science. But you don't know why. Right? You can't explain it. You can't make a whole book about it. You can't give it over. You don't know. But you know that you're in fog. You know that it's uncomfortable. So you got the chomer. All right, now you know that, and you know what the chomer of Mishlei is. There's a righteous element. There's a wicked element. There's a wisdom element. There's a sneaky element. 1 or 2. 1 or 2. Everybody think about somebody you met brand new today or yesterday. Type 1 or 2. Even if it's a delivery guy. 1 or 2. Okay, just meditate on the thing that happened. Was there anything righteous involved? Him coming on time, okay, delivering the product, whatever it is. Was there an avenue of righteousness? 1 or 2. Was there anything that was a little bit not so good? Was something not so good? Maybe just, he didn't put your groceries where you wanted. A little bit late, just kind of rubbed you the wrong way. Someone in traffic was putzing around and didn't go on time. Okay. Now, was there wisdom learned, or could there be wisdom to gain? Was there wisdom present? Was there a little bit of dodgy behavior? Was there something that you can sense some is just not so good, right? There's a little bit of craftiness going on here. 1 or 2. All right, that is your fractal of life. And you're not supposed to understand it right away, so don't try. Let it happen. And who builds it? You or or what? You know what I'm going to say next. Who builds it? Who's building this house? You really think it's you? It's the Eibishter. Let God build it for you. Let God build it. Your job is to stop building it and let God build it. When you stop and embrace the pile, what you're telling God is, God, that's yours. It's beyond me. I don't know what this is. I don't even have a screwdriver that fits this thing. You're going to have to help me out here and build this. I didn't even create the mess. You sent me here. You're going to have to build it. 1 or 2. All right. Shlomo. Now he's going to talk about the word Shlomo. Hu hapoil. Hu hapoil. So here we go. This is interesting. Shlomo is not a person. Okay? Shlomo is not a person. He is work. Now we understand. Everybody understand what moron man means when I say that? Don't be moron man. 1 or 2. And then what do? We use King Solomon wisdom. 1 or 2. The answer is, don't call Solomon a person. Solomon is the work. Let Solomon work it out. You know how we kind of found a Solomon principle the last 6 months or year? The Solomon technique, the Solomon maneuver. Just letting it work out, letting it develop. 1 or 2. Our little, whatever process you did, that's called Solomon. That's identifying the process of how to get it done. You guys cop that? During this last year or so, we found a process that we let it happen to get it done. 1 or 2. 1 or 2. Letting it get it done. Okay. Call that Solomon in metaphor. What's another word for metaphor, Pam? Remember we had this? Metaphor is Mishlei. Remember that? So Solomon becomes the mashal. Mishlei Shlomo. Look at that. How beautiful is that? Mishlei Shlomo. Solomon's writing metaphor the process, right? Shlomo it. Solomon it. You're in the bank, you're in the thing, let it happen. Do a Solomon, 1 or 2. Just Solomon it. Don't say it like Nike. Just do it. Just Solomon it. Just Shlomo it, 1 or 2. Ladat. Ladat. He's going to the next verse. Ladat. Well, that's good. He's bringing in the first 2 verses together. That's good. That's right where we want to be. That was nice. That was real nice. Ladat, to know. Hu tav nisoi v'tsuraso v'inyano. Ladat. It's the understanding and the form of the complex thing. All right, you got wood, 1 or 2. You got a pile of wood, 1 or 2. And you understood how to Solomon it, meaning you attacked it, 1 or 2. You attacked the wood, 1 or 2. Once you attack the wood, 1 or 2, you got the blueprint and you understand it's a working mechanic dresser. You got drawers, you got wheels, you got all kind of stuff. It's complex parts, 1 or 2. So did you understand it, Pam? Did you get understanding now? You understood the wood, how it becomes, right? So you know. Are you saying you know? You now know what a dresser is. Yes, you do. Type 1. You know the dresser. You worked it out. We're going to put a drawer here. The drawer functions like this. Hey, Bob, come look at this. We got the drawer coming in and out. The wheels, yeah, we got wheels, right? You know it. You're familiar. You know it. You understand it. It's got form. It's got form. And it's an Indian. You're already thinking about where you're going to put your DVD player on it, maybe your computer stand. You can go all kind of, you got that panorama view now. Is that correct, Pam? You can see what you can do with it. You know what its limitations are. V'tachlis lekachat musar. Tachlis lekachat musar. Ki lo hamidrash ikar ela hamaisa. Is it more important for you, Pam, to be a salesperson of the dresser at Best Buy saying, hey, we got this new computer stand and it does this and it does that? Or do you want to be able to use it in your office, lekachat musar, because action is the main thing and not study? Now, the question is, why is that musar? Why is that musar? Let me think about this. To take instruction. I'll tell you why. That's right. Exactly. Pam, I want to put my moist, wet cup on your table without a coaster. That's called a coaster. How do you feel about that? Where all your papers are. How do you like that? I'm threatening to ruin your stuff. Why not? Why? So what? So now, when I come to Pam's house, that balagan, Pam is ready to defend that thing. It's now a point of musar, right? Pam, you made about 3 mistakes trying to put it in this corner, didn't go. Then you're going to put it on that wall, block the door. Remember that, when that happened? And you're saying, man, I love my dresser, my table thing, but where does it go? And then you realize, look at this. If I move the couch on the other wall, it's a little tight, but then it opens up the spot here. We can put the table here, and it's closer to the phone jack. Pam, you just improved your entire living room. Right? You took musar. You allowed yourself to get beat up by the table that you built, that you nourished, like that woman thing, right? We're saying that Solomon's looking for the compassion. I hope Eric Bryan listened to the last 5 minutes last week. I hope you heard that, Eric Bryan. Did you? That's very good. So you got the compassion thing. So imagine this situation. You're saying, man, darn it, wood pile right in the middle of my living room floor, right? You're cursing the wood, one or two. Finally, you said, okay, I can use a table. Now you brought it into its infancy, and you're letting this thing yell at you, Pam. No, Pam, don't put me in the corner. I don't fit. You got to move your stuff. Hey, Pam, go move all your stuff around to fit me in your living room. And imagine, but because you nurtured it, and you love it, and you built it, and you saw it, you are able to receive the instruction from a kind point of view, one or two. You know what I'm thinking about here? It's kind of an obvious analogy here. A baby, right? Look at the baby. It's definitely mud at first, right? Then it becomes poil, right? How are we going to do this? Well, we're gonna nurse the baby, raise the baby. You're talking about it. Then it gets form. Her belly gets big, right? You hear it kicking, ultrasound. You guys with me? You're buying nursery stuff and rock-a-bye baby. The baby comes out, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, Pam, feed me. Pam, hey, Dad, where's the bottle? Hey, big guy, hey, get over here. Hey, you, I'm crying all night long unless I get what I want. And we love the little guy, right? We love them. They're crying, they're puking, and their nefesh is going nuts, but we love it. Right? And I think that's where the marriage really takes a great challenge. How are you going to take the musar from the baby that you created? I mean, that's really where the trust comes in. You know, did you make it the right way from the chomer to the point where you can take musar from it to tachlis? You guys see how the analogy works? And I'm painting the picture kind of rough because it is rough. Right? Nobody wants to be confronted with a pile of stuff. But when you deal with it right, that bank analogy, it comes to serve you. Right? Eric, you will become the privileged customer at the bank. Right? It does become musar. And then I say, look, Eric, you know, I'm your banker, John. I'm really busy today. Look, can you just give me 5 more minutes, man? This woman's lost her house. And we got to help her out. Can you just wait 5 minutes? I'm sorry to put you through this. I know you got things to do, right? How do you feel about that, Eric? You can handle that, all right? Now you're taking musar, and it's not a big deal. All of a sudden, you're not V. Eric Bryan, who it's more all about me. So when you work on yourself, now you can receive the musar from the bank, the post office, all those things that you were crusading against. Now we beat you up and you thank me. 1 or 2. Right? We say, you were the next person in line, but now you got to wait longer. Yeah, Eric, we're out of tomatoes. I'm sorry about that. Right? You start to view the world in a different way. Right? You start to realize, you know what? Yesterday was Sunday and the shipment doesn't come in until Monday. And it was my fault for coming the day that I usually don't come. I usually don't come today. Now I know why I don't come today because they're out of everything in the store. I learned my lesson. That's it. You know, you don't even realize most of the problems that come to you are with the little changes that you make that you didn't realize you made, and that's why you had a different mazel. Right? Why are there no tomatoes? Once again, because you came on Sunday. Usually you come on Monday. You didn't think that there's a difference between Sunday and Monday, right? So, I mean, you know, imagine how different the cat's household is on Monday and Tuesday at 9:00 p.m. Israel time. You can see that? 9:00 Tuesday, it's Mishlei time. 9:00 Monday, it's just prepare for the weekday. So people's perception would be, well, come on, what's the difference? I call you at 9:00. What could be going on? Oh, just life. You know, I'm sorry that, that I have a life and that you think that I don't. So everything in life is that sensitive. Every little change makes a difference. And it's the more sensitive you become to recognizing the slight differences, That's where the truth comes from. Remember that word, the havin? To break it down? To break it down? So now let's say you're at the bank, and there's the worker, and now you waited 20 people ahead of you. Now it's your turn. Eric, you ready? Ready to take your big spot in line? You walk up there, and now there's two scenarios. Ready? You guys want to hear the two scenarios? The worker's there, next. You walk up. Here's case A. Ready? Hey! As opposed to, hey. What's the difference? What's the difference? One is you're going to get slapped for screaming at somebody. The same word, if you change the mazel, change the tone, change the Merriam-Webster, it comes across as, hey, how's it going? How are you doing? That's it. So you can even use the same word. Hey can be a term of endearment, and it can be, hey, what are you doing? I'm going to kill you. Understand the poll. Understand the chomer. Let's go. Shlomo ben David Melech Yisrael is the bold print. Fourth line down in the Vilna Gaon. Ki haloimid b'sefer tzarich leida mi hu hamechabroi. Why does it say Solomon, son of David, king of Israel? But when you learn a book, you need to know who put it together. If the compiler is great in wisdom, for sure the book will be filled with tremendous wisdom. Also with the reverence of God and the Torah. He wrote 3 books, and that they are 3 Shehin Shloisha Mishlei. 1 second. Shehin Shlosha Mishlei. As he's saying, there's 3 kinds of what's that? That makes sense. Who also kan Shlosha Svarim Shehin Shloisha Mishlei. 1 second. He said there's 3 kinds of Mishlei. It's kind of strange language. One is wisdom. One is on wisdom. The second is on Musar. And the third is on Torah. V'neged elu hashleisha amar kan shleisha dvarim. And corresponding to these 3 things are neged chochma. Where do we see the reference to wisdom? Shlomo. Remember we said just Solomon it? He's saying Solomon is just code for wisdom. So we learned it very good. Yesher koyach. As it's written in Kings 1, 5, 11, and Solomon became more wise than every man. Neged Musar Amor. And corresponding to the instruction, it says, son of David, that David was a very big chassid. As it says by the rabbis and brachas, the one that sees David in a dream can expect piety. Right? Piety is really the becoming holy, right? Becoming pure, working on yourself, becoming refined. That's the word. Becoming refined. That's what we're talking about. Eric Bryan, what is the difference between Chomer, Poil, Tzoyer, and Tachlis? If you have a pile of wood, what do you call that to make it into a desk or a cabinet? You know the word? Anybody know the word? Hurry up. 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to tell you. Refinement. You've refined it. You've sawed 1 or 2. You sawed it down, nailed it up. You've glued it up, put it together. Now that rough riding pile is a refined cabinet. There you go. So you want to know, according to the Vilna Gaon, Solomon is the stuff and the guts and all that, all of that. But David is the refinement. He's saying David is really the refined. He is the one who went through Chomer, Poyel, Surah, and Tachlis. David got to the Tachlis. He got the finished product. I think that makes sense why King David is the Mashiach. Because Moshe Rabbeinu, I'll tell you what, Moshe Rabbeinu was not refined. Not like King David. And I'm not even saying King David was refined. I don't think he was. Not like we're saying. He accepted refinement. See the difference? The end. You may not have the world's greatest cabinet when you're done, but at least you got a cabinet. King David had a very difficult life, one or two. He didn't have the privilege of just singing Kumbaya every day. But at the end of his life, he got to become a cabinet. You understand? He was a cabinet. Right? He was not the greatest cabinet. But he understood how to make a cabinet. I'll give you a great mashal, a great analogy. Ready? Ready? Who is more important? A successful NCAA college wrestling coach or a really great small town wrestling coach in Ohio? Who's better? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know that. The point is, you cannot say the small town guy is worthless simply because he's not on the big stage. Right? And that's what I call gear wisdom. I mean, I remember growing up in Dayton, there were so many guys that had such wisdom of just stuff. The big refine. I'll even throw a really horrible example at you. Ready? You guys know anybody of you guys know people that know cars? There's always that one guy that knows cars, right? My old neighbor, Derek. The guy could have been anything he wanted. He worked at a Cadillac dealership, right? He got me into NASCAR back in 1996 when Jeff Gordon was just getting big. And he knew everything. And I used to say, Derek, why don't you go work for NASCAR? Now, NASCAR is like huge in refinement, right? The cars, the polish, the bling, right? I mean, NASCAR may be one of the most refined sports there is, one or two. I mean, that's real refinement, man, right? Cars, throwing a football is nothing compared to that. But it doesn't mean you're great just because you're at NASCAR. There are so many people. There's a group I belong to on Facebook. It's like a car group because they refurbish cars and they build cars from scratch, just like small town guys with a private garage. The work they do is phenomenal. Okay, it's not the technology of NASCAR, but you understand my point. King David is the guy, the local guy that knew the stuff that could do amazing stuff. Like my friend Derek was able to remember the game Operation. Remember that game? Operation with the nose that lit up like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Remember that? One or two. You guys remember that game? Where you got to pull the bones out of the body, and then if you hit the circuit, it like vibrates and zaps. So Derek had a generator in his house, the apartment unit above me, and he never bought batteries for his kids. He hooked up all the games to a generator. You guys all know a guy like that? That's what I call real gear wisdom, right? So he never bought batteries. He just hooked it up, and he knew how to do all that stuff. That is not refined, okay? That is not refined, but it is. That's what we're going to call King David refinement. You got that? King David, and it's not MacGyver. We're not talking MacGyver. It's just kind of knowing how things work, getting by, getting the job done, right? Moses was what I think Moses was the chomer, right? I think Moses was the master Mishlei. He was the one who knew the components, the recipes, the ingredients, right? That was his thing. That's it. And, refinement, I don't know. If I had to guess on one foot, I would say Abraham was the refinement guy. Shem and Abraham were refined, as far as I understand it. Whereas Noah was more of like that King David. And by the way, King David, the Midrashim on Psalms say the tzaddik of King David's inspiration was Noah. It was Noah. Okay, here we go. Kamosha Kasu Shamra Nafshi Ki Chasid Ani. King David says, guard my soul because I'm a Chasid. Ukashnemar Lav Shaya ben David Mistama Hayim Amala Makum of Asav. Right, that just brings another verse. Neged Torah Amar Melech Yisrael Kamo. One second. So there was, what are the three things again? The three things. Chachma, Musar, and Torah. So Solomon, David, and now we're saying King of Israel is Torah. Kamosha Kasuv Ki Malachim Yimloch. Kings will rule. The Elu Shlosha Mishlei Hu Sod V'Yadaber Shloshes Elafim Mashal. These three proverbs or proverbial isms is the secret, as it says in Kings 1, 5, 12, Solomon spoke 3,000 mushal. So we're saying there's again, let's back up here. Let's just review. Ready? To every mushal, there are four parts. Chomer, Poyel, Soira, Tachlis. The stuff, the work, the idea, and putting it into practice. One or two. That's the concept of four. Then, everything's a mushal. That's number one, right? When we say we have stuff, what do? Oh, let's make a cabinet. Oh, it's a Peterson cabinet. Oh, here you have a fully built Peterson cabinet, right? That cabinet, every part of the process is a mushal, meaning you can get mazel from the cabinet experience. Eric, you and I built the cabinet one time, right? Remember when we were standing there debating the pile of sticks? Remember that? Remember how 5 years later we gave a Torah class and we said, yeah, it's like when we had the pile of sticks. It became a mushal. Remember that? Then we were debating the idea. Remember, Eric, we said should it have 2 drawer cabinets or three drawers or 2? Remember that? Okay. Then when we hung out 5 years later, we drew analogies from the drawers. No, Eric, we should not have 3 cabinets in the refrigerator because remember we figured out by the cabinet that 2 works better than 3. Remember we realized that? What we're talking about is building life vessels. Everything becomes a vessel and a learning experience in an analogous form. You follow me? It's one big learning experience with infinite depth. Remember we said that when you watch the master craftsman, you have to know and understand the process so that when you're done with the seminar, you know. When you started the seminar, you didn't know. When it's done, you know. Remember we said the master teacher has his own way of interpreting and explaining the material? 1 or 2. That was like a week or 2 ago. So then when he's teaching you from that way, all of the miniature learning experiences become a metaphor and an analogy. That's how you learn. You understand that? So the more the teacher knows and understands, it becomes a personal interpretation, explanation. Then the 4 stages of stuff, work, idea, and form become alive in miniature worlds. That's called fun in learning. 1 or 2. Now it's 3-dimensional, right? It's a 3D model. And in that becomes 3 parts. Wisdom, instruction, and Torah. So the teacher is going to give you the wisdom, right? He's going to make you make a mistake to show the rest of the class that you're a moron, man. 1 or 2. Just like my teacher in driving school said, David, King David, ha, 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 right? You saw the Musar was there. How apropos that? How apropos that? Right? My driving school seminar, could it have been possible that there was not Musar? 1 or 2. Was it even possible? And how fitting is it that class received the Musar because I was willing to take it over the head? It just happened to be that way. It's not like I planned that. But you see, everybody there got the Musar, correct? He happened to have chosen me, but they all got the Musar. Don't mess with this guy giving the class or he'll throw you out because he's picking on the American guy, David. And then there's Torah. I got Torah from it. Thanks, Pam. I got Torah from it. That's why it was a blessing. Then he's saying you have to first know the author of the book. Right? I understood that driving school was a wisdom thing, and I'm still teaching from it today. 1 or 2. Then you have to receive the instruction like David. So I guess I was the most willing to be beat up that day, and I was the David in case in point. Then there was a king. There was a king of Torah. It was the driving instructor in the book, 1 or 2. And they did reign supreme. They ruled. They won. They conquered. And I can at least say I passed my test because Sami refused to not be a king, 1 or 2. Do you see how rich the good part of life is? All of this, all of these different parts, the 4, the 3, the 3, the 3, how many is that? 4 by 3 times 3 is 9, and 13 parts. There's at least 13 parts here, which is a gematria echad, 1. To every, and then it fractals out. You guys see how it fractals? Right? Every chaimer has 13. Every pile of sticks, every work, every thought, every action. You see how that now, type 1 or 2. Do you see the fractal? 1 or 2. Now, don't call it a fractal. Call it Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. Going out all across the spectrum. Just take the infinite fractal, make it holy, and say it's godliness. On that day, he is one, his name is one. Are you with me, 1 or 2? That's it. Now, I saw tonight in Psalms 1:3 that in the name of God, Yud Hey Vav Hey is corresponding to Pshat Remez Drew Sod. I saw this in my Vilna Gaon work in Mishlei. Sorry. Pshat Remez Drew Sod. Right? The 4 levels of exegesis. And he said that Remez, hint, which is gematrias, and secret sod, are a union so tight, representing the Yud and the Hey of God's name, that when they're together, the Yetzer Hara cannot enter. And then it allows for the union of the Vav and Hey. So there's a name of God. Obviously, you guys probably know it, Yud and Hey, correct? Just the letters Yud and Hey, 1 or 2. Or yeah, 1 or 2. And there's a famous thing when you go to the synagogue and they say Kaddish, And then the whole minion responds, Amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah, right? May God's great name be blessed forever and ever. It's one of those powerful things you can say. And Shmei Rabbah means the great name. And they spell Shmei, Shin Mem Yud Hey. Okay? And it also means Shem Yah, like the name of God. You with me? 1 or 2? And in Kabbalah, it's like nothing higher than that. In terms of the yichud, the unity, and the Kabbalistically, that's where the level of God is united. Beneath that, there begins for the allowance of evil and separation. Our job is to strengthen the union and make God one. His name is one on that day. 1 or 2. Hurry up, 1 or 2. Eric Bryan, calling on you. Look at the first 2 words of the verse, Mishlei Shlomo. Type 1 when you're there. In the verse itself, Mishlei Shlomo. Type 1 or 2 when you're there. Type 1 when you're there. The first 2 words of the verse. All right, now, tell me what the beginning and end letters of those 2 words spells. You see it? What's the first letter of Mishlei? Mem. Pam, you want to take the mic and say this out loud?
I can. I'm not real proficient, but I see Mem, Sheen, or is it Seen?
Shin.
Shin, Lamed, Yud, Shin, Lamed. Let me keep going.
Yeah, I'm saying there's something called Rosh Tevot and Sofa Tevot. The beginning and end letters. Look at the beginning letters of the first 2 words of the verse. What are the first letters of the 2 words?
Mem and Sheen. Shin.
Right, that spells Shem, as in the name of. What are the end letters of the first 2 words?
Yud, Hey.
What does it spell? Shem Yah, the name of God.
Shem, yeah.
How's that for cool? On the coolometer. Right?
That's very cool.
That is. That's like one of the highest things there is. That name. I mean, and Shlomo knew that was there. It didn't take much rocket science to put that there. Did you see it now, Eric? Solomon, that's called divine inspiration. Ruach HaKodesh. And King David's got that filled with his writings, and Solomon does as well. All right. So the Gaon's taking us pretty deep here, huh? He's taking us pretty far. Okay, Ladat. Now he's properly in the second verse. All right, so go down. I don't know if I got a picture of this. What is that? I'm not going to take a picture of this one, but just follow me. Ladat. Follow along in your Tanakh if you got your Tanakh handy. He's going on the first word of the second verse. Everyone there? Let's go ahead and bring up our meme now. Our old time meme. Okay. All right, Ladat, to know. Here we go. All right, now we're really in the Kishkas. This is where we've been for the last 6 months or more. Ready? Everyone ready? Fired up? Ladat. Remember what it was to dot way back in the day? Inyan ha-sefer he. Inyan means the complex part. You can call it the calculus. Let's just call it for code. Inyan is the calculus of it. Everyone there? Everybody have a job? Type 1 or 2 if you have a job. Everyone type 1 or 2 if you have a job. Everybody, let's go. 1. Hello. Everybody, okay. Well, Pam, you do stuff. I know you do because you're helping me out. That's all your stuff. Now, everybody think about how we can really dumb down your job. All right? Everyone think about how you can dumb it down to somebody. Hey, Pam, Kevin, Loretta, James, Eric, what do you do for a living? Everyone think about a really dumb answer. I got a dumb answer. When people ask me what I do, you know what I do? I'm like, yeah, well, I teach Noah hides. Because they don't know what ger is. Right? So, now, think about the calculus of what you do. Think about the calculus. The calculus answer is, I teach ger. So think about the calculus that you do. So ladat, Inyan, the Inyan is calculus. Right? It's the calculus, not the dumb answer. Capiche? Ladat is to know the calculus of everything. Is there? It's right, Chab, exactly. Eric, is there a calculus to waiting in line at the bank? Is there a calculus? There you go. HaSefer hi ladat chachma u'musar. There it is. There it is. When you go somewhere and you're a moron man, the quick way is to say, come on, Eric, you got to know this. Another way of saying it is calculus. And then you go through the whole progression of chachma, musar, choimer, poil, chachma, toira, mus. All right, work the progression. Work out the cobwebs. Leida chachma. The first thing he's saying, Eric, when you're breaking out a moron man, the first thing you need to do is once you're looking for calculus, start with wisdom. Shalo yipul bereshit hayetzer hara asher hu peiris leraglav v'shalo yitpate bepitoyi. You need wisdom to not be seduced and not get caught in the netting of the yetzer hara. Eric, why do you need wisdom? To not get caught, brought down, and seduced. That's it. And Musar. Im Yetzro Mizgavir Alav. But you know what, Eric, you can be a moron man time to time. We all can. All right, you're human. And you're going to fall victim, one or two. So you fell victim. Liyaser Esartzmo Lishboroso. What do you do when you're caught, Eric? You just got to fight your way out of there. That's how it is. You just got to fight your way out. That's called taking the lesson. As it's written, Leimor la'asurim say la'ashir v'choy galu. Say to those bound, you shall be released. Right, Eric, you're pretty miserable, right? We don't got your tomatoes. I think you're not a nice guy. I don't even want you to shop here anymore. What are you going to do? It's okay. Serenity now. Serenity now. I'm breaking out of here. I'm calm. I'm cool. I'm collected. You're not bringing me down. Do tshuva. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Hainu, that is to say, those that were already in the hand of their Yetzer and they were bound under its hand, they got to really get fired up for holiness and good and go out by the Musar. So I'm going to say, you know what, Mr. Brian, you're not a very good customer here. What are you going to say back? You're going to say whatever you got to do to just take the Musar, get the wisdom. Whatever you got to do. Not just give in, but, get your brain back. That's it. The person might not be a good person. Really. God may have put you there for you to see that this person is not a good person. Whatever it is. Just get your head on straight. Right? Pretty simple. And those that they are in darkness don't see the light. Right? You didn't see the light, Eric. That's all it was, right? You were in a hurry. You were in a rush. Admittedly so. And you just weren't thinking. Just wasn't thinking. She had every right to hit me over the head. I wasn't thinking. Ve'enan makiran pitoy. Did you see the seduction, Eric? Did you even notice that they were closing in 5 minutes? And you're sitting here going, "Hey, my tomatoes, my tomatoes." You didn't even notice they were closing shop, did you? So the Torah would have revealed it to you, and you would have recognized the seduction. Right? When you go in there and you look around, this isn't real. Here's a trick question, Eric Bryan. Supermarket tomatoes, Yetzir's got you. Why isn't it real? Hurry up. Why isn't it real? Because, give up. Because a store that's closing in 5 minutes doesn't look the same as a store that's wide open. People act rushed, hurried, maybe even rude when they're closing and you are keeping them from their dinner. A store that's open at noon, they have no reason to not be that way, or whatever I'm saying. They have no reason to be that way. It's not the real shopping experience. So why are you trying to be normal when it's not normal? If you would understand the Torah and respect the sign closing in 5 minutes, then your behavior would change. That's the essence of Ladas, Chochma, Umusar. Pretty good, guys, isn't it? That's really nice. I think we got it, huh? Now, that's the first part. You woke up out of moron man. You got your Torah. You got your Musar. Right? The whole first paragraph that we just did, you got the poil, the tzoira. Eric, did you build the chest? Did you find the wood? Did you embrace the wood? Did you build the cabinet? Did you find God's name? Did you do all those things? Yes, you did. Now, lahavinim rebina, ki af im yeshabir is yetzru v'taiva so. All right, Eric, you understood right away. They're closing down 5 minutes. Give me 1 or 2. I really want my tomatoes, Eric, 1 or 2. But you know what, God? Sometimes you just don't get the tomatoes, do you, Eric? And it's okay. I'm okay with that. Eric, are you okay with that? Yira l'shabir b'derech ha'toira. You had enough fear of God. You broke it with the way of Torah, didn't you? You said, you know what? We got other food to eat at the house. We're going to do something else than tomatoes. And I'm going to learn next time not to come 5 minutes before closing time. V'lo yiyed tzadik arbe yoter mima shekasu b'toira. So, Eric, what you didn't do is you didn't say, you know what I'm going to do? There's no tomatoes here. I'm not going to eat for a week to show how much I repented. He's saying, don't do that. That's not Torah. They didn't have your tomatoes, and all of a sudden you're saying, okay, you're right, God, never eating again. I agree. If I can't have tomatoes, I'm never going to do it. No, that's not Torah. L'mashal, as the example. Shitaina kol shavua v'kol shabbat. Oh, how do you guys like that? What's the example that Vilna Gaon gave? That I'm going to fast all week and also on Shabbos. You got to love that. You got to love that. That was not planned. That was not planned. That was good. Ve'elu shleisha hu negid shleisha sichlim shiba adam. All right, these 3 things: chochma, musar, lahavinim rebina. Look at your meme over there. To know wisdom and instruction, discern the words of understanding. What is the essence of these 3 things? So he's saying these are 3 things: know wisdom and instruction, and to discern, then words of understanding. Ready? Ki af. I don't know. These are the 3 mentalities of man. Seichel ha'iyoni, investigative intelligence. Seichel machshava, the ability to think. Seichel hamaise, thinking as you do. All right, so we got the stuff in front of us, Eric, right? A bunch of wood. Seichel iyuni. What are we going to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? Let's build something. What do you want to build? Let's build a cabinet. Seichel machshava. Okay, Eric, how are we going to build the cabinet? Well, first let's saw it down. Let's sand it, and then we'll make a Stanley cabinet. Right, Eric? 1 or 2. Okay, Eric, that's a good idea. So let's just do it, yeah? Okay. Eric, hand me a screwdriver. Screwdriver. All right, let's saw it down, and you're just going through the motions, the mechanics, and you're making that cabinet, right? Those are the three mentalities of a person. One or two. Ha-iyoni, he's going to break it down further. Iyoni, investigative, deep contemplative investigation. Hu b'darki shemayim, v'hilu koichavim erkava v'kedoime. Okay. He's saying it's the way of heaven. This is a nice way of saying what? It starts with the letter M as in Mary. Eric, the word that starts with the letter M as in Mary. What is that word? You say it all the time. What is that word? Let's go. Mazel. He's saying, how do you investigate a matter? You are not smart enough. That's what he's saying. He's saying that is for God to put it in your head. One or two. Let the heavens rotate. Let the heavens work. Just chill out. Stop. You're looking at a pile of sticks. Nobody and their brother knows how to build from sticks, but God does. Seichel machshava lahanhiga satzmo amidus. Thought is to guide himself with his character traits. Right? So we're looking at where God gave us the idea, and now we're thinking about it. So when you're thinking about the cabinet, you're thinking about all your character traits, you're thinking about the dimensions of your living room, or you're pulling together all the dots, aren't you, Eric? How are we going to build it? Where are we going to put it? Just letting the wisdom really percolate. Which room is it going to go in? What color could we do? It's called contemplation. The first one was meditation. Now it's contemplation. One or two. From meditation comes contemplation. V'seichel ha'maaseh hu b'maaseh. The intelligence of action is through action. So meditation, contemplation. What's the last word? What word do you guys want to use there? Meditation, contemplation. How about initiate application? I was going to say initiation. Application. I like that better. Yeah, everyone should probably write that down. This is real talkless stuff here. Meditation, contemplation, application. V'hei neged chukim, mishpatim, and mitzvahs. You got this? Those three correspond to the unknown laws, the known laws, and the mitzvahs. Chukim b'shamayim. V'yadartem chuk shamayim. Right? Eric, I don't ever want to see you type the letter Z again. You know why? Hurry up, one or two. You know why? Because I said so. You got that? Because I said so. It just came from above. I don't know, man. Rabbi Katz said no more letter Z. And now when I call him Rabbi Katz, it's just Rabbi Cat. We call him Kit Kat. I am not allowed to use letter Z. Those are the chuk. Right, Eric, I'm sure someone in your life close to you has said, Eric, do this. And you said, why? The answer is there's no why. You just do it. Sometimes you just do it. That's where it's put in your head, and you'll meditate on why, and that's what it is. Mishpatim ba'aretz k'moshe katsu mishpat yamid eretz. Now there's laws of the land. So we meditated, and we are contemplating, and I'm saying, Eric, I want you to go to the store to buy wood, one or two. Do not buy oak. All right, I need you to buy oak, or don't buy oak. The oak is not good for the Stanley cabinet, one or two. So what are you going to do when you drive over there, Eric? You're going to contemplate. All right, so Rabbi Katz said no oak. All right, we got cherry wood. We got other kind of wood, pine wood. All right, so I get to the store. Where's the guy? Where's Bill? Where's Bill? There's Bill. Bill, we're building a Stanley cabinet. You got pine. No, we got oak. No, I can't use oak. There you go. Mitzvahs hein mechabrin shemayim va'aretz hein sod shemayim va'aretz va'adam v'chabrin. So the mitzvahs are the combination of heaven and earth, the meditation and the contemplation, the unknown law and the known law. So let's try to put it together, Eric. Ready? Eric, I don't ever want to see you type the word Z, and don't buy oak wood because it doesn't go with the Stanley cabinet. You now have a mitzvah, right? Eric does a mitzvah when he brings the pine wood for the cabinet, and I gave him my credit card to pay for the wood, and they told him to sign it, and he signed it David Cat, minus the Z. Did you do a mitzvah? Yes. Yes. Now, as God usually says in the Torah, it's the effort that counts, not the reward. One or two. If I tell you, Eric, why I didn't want the Z, then I gave you a bracha of a revelation, right? And we'll call that the Torah of Shem. Well, Eric, I didn't have you write the Z because the Lowe's hardware shop, anybody with a Z in their name, they taxed them $5 extra this week. But I didn't have time to explain that to you. Because if I would have told you, you'd be like, why? I'm like, Eric, do we really need to explain this now? Do we really need to explain? Well, if I write Z, then they'll tax me $5, and then we'll have the Z, then. Eric, can't you just take what I say as for a grain of salt and go and do it? Do you have to question everything I do? Really? There's no time to discuss it. Don't write Z. One or two. But if I don't tell you and you did it, you still got merit, didn't you? I looked at the receipt. You typed David Cat, and you're saying to yourself, I don't know what's with this guy. I didn't type Z. I don't know. I don't even want to know. Eric, how was it working for Rabbi Katz? It was all right. Little weird. He doesn't let me spell his name. Yes. Because what happened when I read the receipt? Did I get pleasure seeing that you fulfilled my will? So am I going to treat you favorably now, no matter what, when I saw that you did it? And you don't know that. You're thinking I'm some kind of psycho killer. You know, how dare you type Z? And that's why in your relationship with God, you got to get over that. Just because God didn't say, well, Eric, we patched you on the head, you're a good boy today. God's got your number. You do what God said, and it's a real bona fide mitzvah, you're in good standing. That's the betachon. Now, if God graces you with the wisdom revealed, all the better. But if not, it's still there. Just because you don't know it doesn't mean that it's not there. So that's the mitzvah. That's the power of the mitzvah. You guys feel what a mitzvah is now? You got a taste of the mitzvah? That's really what mitzvahs are about. Now, when God gives you the revelation, because God feels like it, according to his system of wisdom, okay, that's very good. But either way, you know how the system works. It's some kind of Torah of Shem thing, and you just might not be on the level to understand the Torah of Shem on that thing, which 99.9 repeating decimal people are not on that level. When women tell men, honey, can you get my favorite shampoo? Do we know what that means? No. Just do the mitzvah. No one asked your opinion. Just do the mitzvah. And if you're meant to find out why it's a mitzvah, you'll find out. The Hein Sod Torah, mitzvahs, and midas. This is the secret of Torah, mitzvot, and midot. You meditate on Torah. You let God put it in your head. You contemplate the mitzvahs so that maybe God will give you a revelation. Correct, Eric? Right? That which is revealed, you'll get. And if it's not revealed, you're asking God to reveal it. And the midot. It's all right. I told you, do not write the letter Z. Be a good person and just don't use your ego. I'll show him a lesson. Because guess what happened to you, Eric? They're going to charge you the $5 tax. And I was trying to help you not pay that tax. Because they don't really take it out of my account, they take it out of yours. And I know that you're in hard times and you really need that $5. But no, you know more than I do. Mina's is character traits, which is attitude. Eric, change your attitude. Why do you think that I'm trying to give you a hard time? Maybe I'm trying to help you. Right? And you're fighting it just because, you don't tell me what to do. Well, Kamosha Kasab Aferish Al Yeshaya, Elarich Vamavin Yavin. You want to see something amazing? Who wants to see something amazing? You want to know what the last two words or the last word of the Vilna Gaon's commentary is? He says, those that will understand will understand. Look at this. How do you guys like that? That's the last word he wrote. Did we call it or what? Did we call it or what? How amazing. That's mazel. That's mazel. And you see how fractal the Vilna Gaon's Torah is? He's got you going every direction with wisdom and things going on. Full circle. But can you appreciate the mind of the Gaon now? He's got it completely fractaled out. Is that not the perfect way to end the project we did? We hashed out all of those concepts. Then we do the Vilna Gaon program. It's like you got a computer built and he puts in Windows. I think we've been given a bracha of that programming. We understood how to get rid of Moron Man. Now we've been given the program. You've been given the software, right? Once you get out of Moron Man and you're empowered, it's not just to be empowered. It's called taking command. You take command through the fractal. You saw that? Take it to the fractal. And that only comes from by building your emunah, understanding more and more the words, the concepts. And that's called like thinking on your feet. When you guys have a job to do and problems happen, how do you problem solve? How do you do critical thinking? You fractal. You just work it. It's called working. The Vilna Gaon worked it. One or two. This is how you work it. And that's, I think, it ends up being, that's Yavin. When you Yavin, you're working. You're working it. The Vilna Gaon knew how to work it. Shlomo knew how to work it. Proverbs is the program to learn how to work it. And that just might be the highest thing there is. We've now concluded the first two verses of Mishlei. Exactly 11:01 p.m. All right. Mazel tov to everybody here and those that are listening on their own time. Very big achievement here, guys. Eric, you're a good sport for taking the abuse of the wrestling dummy. And to more great learning on the horizon. All right, I'm going to stop the recording now, and our little hiatus will happen from here on out. I encourage you to keep coming to the room. Pam will open it up, and I strongly request / urge the Vilna Gaon Evan Shlema series called Getting Gaon Wisdom. Those classes should be Yavin, type 1 or 2. those classes should become Yavin. Fractal Yavin. If it's the Vilna Gaon that gave those classes that I just translate, then that fractal should be in there. I'm turning off the recorder. You guys are a great, amazing class this cycle. This is a big accomplishment. You shook the heavens, and may this light continue to spread as we spread the message to South Africa, London, and God willing, the whole globe. Amen.